Good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Punches and Prayers podcast. Today we're going to talk about the recent assassination of Mr. Charlie Kirk. Now, before I get into this video and I go deep into, different segments of this video, I just want to address something. As a Muslim, as a man, as a human, as a person that lives in this world, I strongly condemn what Charlie Kirk had to go through. I want to make this very, very clear. If you don't agree with his views, you do not deserve to be killed like that or be killed, period. We live in a country where debate is welcome, and unfortunately we live in times where there's so many conflicting people and people can't get along where they do this to each other, and not something that I think that is right. So I just want to make that very clear. And now let's address the death of Charlie Kirk. What took place, what as Muslims we should understand. Now, as Muslims, we don't take pleasure in anybody dying. That's not the Muslim realm. That's not the way we live. That's not the way we think. We don't take pleasure in somebody losing their lives. But let me be very clear. We also don't sit here and pretend like someone who was against our people, against our deen, suddenly becomes a saint and he was on the right side of society and the right side of the narrative. That's not true at all. In fact, Charlie Kirk was not on the right side. Let me make that very clear. Free speech should not be killed. No one deserves to be assassinated or silenced. But at the same time, let's not fall into this Western double standard where every time a white conservative or a white man dies, people act like he was a man of truth, a man of righteousness, when in reality he was pushing dangerous narratives and hatred towards Muslims. Now, he was not all right and not all wrong. He did talk about the trans blender, gender, vendor, fender community, and he talked about what's happening with that and how what's a man, what's a woman. I agree with him on those points. However, he never stood up for the Palestinian cause. Palestinians and people that got oppressed in any Muslim nation. Well, the moment it comes to that, I can't agree with him on anything else because he was very anti-Palestine. In fact, let's roll a clip. He was so anti-Palestine where there was a university student at one of the debates on Turning Point, I believe is what he goes by. And this is the video I'm going to play right now, and I'm going to put it up on the screen so you can see. I'm going to play it from start to finish.
It's called Judea and Samaria. It's not called Palestine.
You don't believe that Palestine have the right to exist?
No, everyone has a right to exist. Show me where it is. It's a non-existent place.
Okay, yeah, I don't think we're gonna.
That's why we're on different planets, right? What is the national identity of Palestine? Educate me.
Palestinians.
What is that?
Like, what do you mean? What is that?
Yeah, what ethnicity are they?
Arabs.
Okay, so all Arabs are Palestinians?
So you could clearly see his bigotry and the way he's acting with this Palestinian kid. He straight up goes and says, there's no Palestine, there's no existence of Palestine, and they don't have the right to exist. Like, this is straight, a double standard of a man who claims like he's fighting for democracy and fighting for people that are actually good people. He is not a good person by saying that. He never accepted the Palestinian side. He always sided blindly with Israel. He always used religious justifications, like, for example, quoting Exodus and Bible and saying we must support the people of Israel, just like Ted Cruz or whoever did. But that's false. Based on any narrative, you could bring a Christian scholar. What Israel are they referring to? Or even who wrote that part of the book? There's no verified sources that this was the word of God. And again, a lot of Christians like to use that to justify what's happening in Palestinians. Palestinians are human beings too. They have the right to live and exist and to resist occupation. Charlie Kirk never acknowledged their suffering, their displacement, or their oppression. Instead, he turned a blind eye, stood with the oppressors, and that's the real truth. So don't tell me now that after his death, suddenly we should make him a hero and he was not on the side of justice. Let's be clear about that. Now, there's another clip I'll play. This is with the Oxford student he had. It's very interesting. I believe you guys should watch this one. And he gets schooled. When anybody intelligent, he always got schooled. And he wasn't able to have any conversations after that. Let me pull up this clip.
Should Israel have responded? Not with the blanket carpet bombing of the city, not with bombing hospitals. Of course, some kind of military operation might have been necessary, but not murder on this scale. There is no justification for what is happening with the enormous death toll that is being produced. I really cannot see how you come here and you have the gall to lecture us on Christian morality and then sit here and justify the murder of thousands of civilians. And is it working, Mr. Kirk? Is Hamas dismantled?
I've never said that.
You just did.
Well, no,
this is your whole
in
thing.
war, these are called casualties of a war.
We're going to need to stop bringing this
Again, I'm not going to justify every military maneuver of a 100,000 person army. Instead,
if you see in this video, every time Charlie Kirk faced someone young, smart, and informed, he had no answers. He built his reputation debating college kids, but the truth is, when the students actually knew their facts and figures and actually challenged him against his own views, he would get exposed. He stumbled, he dodged, and he deflected. He was not really about standing on the side of the truth. This shows you something. Truth doesn't need no fancy words or big platforms. Truth exposes itself, and Charlie Kirk couldn't stand it, against it, even when challenged by students. His words always caught up to himself. And here, let me play this other clip as well too, where this is the video that's actually really sad, because he talked about gun laws, and he talked about how there should be certain amount of deaths, and essentially that's why we get to have our Second Amendment rights. Like, this is sad, and this is how he ended up dying, is because of a gunshot, and because there's so many guns out there. Like, this is crazy. That, you know how they say be careful what you wish for? This statement applies here.
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational. Nobody talks like this. They live in a complete alternate universe. So then how do you reduce? Very simple. People say, oh, Charlie, how do you stop school shootings? I don't know. How did we stop?
So this is the kind of stuff that this guy would spew out of his mouth. I just want you to understand. And here's what I'm going to say now. The reality is for Muslims, this was not a guy that we should, say rest in peace and this, that. The Muslim belief is, if the kafir dies without belief in Allah, he's going to hell anyways. So we should be neutral. We should condemn the fact that somebody was killed. 100% I'm for that. But when Muslims say he was on the right side of the truth, or this, that, and the other, have some self-respect. Have some self-respect for those Palestinian kids that gave their life. Have some self-respect for yourself as a man, at least, before you go suck some other man off and join the kafirs and talking about how you're such a great person and this, that, and the other. Muslim, you're a Muslim man. You have a duty towards your brothers and sisters in Palestine. This man clearly talked bad about our brothers and sisters. He never even accepted them having a nation. He was on the opposing side. He was on the side of genocide. As Muslims, we can't say this. We cannot make dua for this guy, right? He's dead. Now he's in God's hands, and God will do what he has to do to him. But for us, we cannot be posting, oh my God, Charlie Kirk, rest in peace, rest in peace, rest in peace, and all these Muslim influencers that are jumping on the bandwagon just to get views and stuff. We Muslims do not do this. We don't support people that did not support us. We don't go and say, oh, what a great man. This is Abu Jahl. We don't go and praise Abu Jahl. At the end of the day, there should be a wake-up call for who are the real perpetrators of global oppression. Who created the narratives around 9/11? Who benefits from painting Islam as the enemy? We all know the truth, and it's about time we stop sugarcoating it. So my message to my brothers and sisters, stay firm, stay strong, and don't sell your deen for sympathy from people who will never stand with you. We don't celebrate that, but we don't whitewash falsehood either. Remember that, and always never ever have your deen for sale. With that being said, assalamu alaikum. That was my video and my take on Charlie Kirk.